Hello, YouTube. So I'm coming to you from my 1983 Oldsmobile 98. As you can see, it just turned 61,408 miles. So coming up on 2 years, and I thought I would make a video. And what the video is going to be about is something that I've put a lot of thought into recently, and that is owning a classic car. Now this isn't, any kind of a sports car as far as like a GTO or anything, impressive like that. Kind of more of a special taste car in a way. I love this car to death. I would never trade it. I don't ever plan on getting rid of it. But something that I also thought about is the cost involved. So as far as cost that is involved with owning this car, I'm 25. I'm going to be 26 here soon. This is not my first classic. It's the first classic I've actually owned in my name. But before this, you saw earlier in the videos, I had a 72 Pontiac Grand Prix. It was a great car as far as engine and transmission wise. It had the 400 Pontiac V8 in it. That car had plenty of go. It was a great car. I loved it. I wish I didn't have to get rid of it. But I live in Pennsylvania. And if anybody knows anything about Pennsylvania, it's the salt. Salt will kill your cars. Also, not having proper garaging and the fact that the car it was a victim of a very hack restoration at some point in its life. The frame rail had rotted out and it had just become beyond my need, beyond what I could do with it. So I picked this car up 2 years ago, August. And if you're going to get into a classic car, especially somebody that is my age, I don't have all the money in the world. I don't. I don't make a large amount of money. I make enough to get by, and I'm happy with that. Now this car here is a prime example of somebody of my age, my financial means. It's a perfect car. It's a perfect starter classic car. And the reason I say this is I got the car relatively cheap, and you can find these cars for a reasonable price. Maybe not quite as good of a deal as I got, but you can definitely still find them. These are more of an older generation car, so mostly, older individuals will have these. This one, the original owners were in their 90s when they sold the car in early 2000s to mid 2000s. They didn't drive it a whole lot. It was garage kept. They took really good care of it. They had it undercoated. It's a prime candidate to carry on in the fact that it's got a solid body with little to no rust. It's perfect. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for something that doesn't have a large amount of rust because that's what you have to build off of. Now, I'm also fortunate that this car only had 54,000 miles on it when I got it. So engine and transmission wise, it's in good shape. It doesn't have a lot of wear on it. So maintaining the car hasn't been that much. I've been slowly fixing things up. And what I like is that it was in good shape from the start. Was able to get it inspected, driving, and legal, and I can work on it as I go. I make improvements. Just like recently, I just learned and rebuilt the carburetor on it. I has another set of new tires on the front. I just added the rain guards, or the vent shades is what they would be called, to the car because I really like the look of them. And you can build upon it, and that's what's great about this car. So my next subject here is it doesn't cost me a lot of money because I can do the work myself. And that is one of the biggest things, is being able to do repairs on your own. I did most of the repairs myself, thus the cost has been very low. I only have to pay for parts, which is great. So if you're looking to get into a classic car and you're younger, and I really want younger generations, people my age, to start getting into this, because it's something that's going to die off. And once they're all gone, what are you going to do? So the ability to learn and do repairs yourself is a great way to start. It's a great car to learn to repair yourself because it's so easy, and mechanical parts are so easily available for this car. It's also relatively cheap to insure, and if anything does happen to it, you're not out your priceless car that cannot be fixed. You couldn't replace easily. Also, if it's something that, maybe this car doesn't meet your tastes, you want something a little sportier. My recommendation, G-Body. Grand Prix, a lot of the Monte Carlos, the Oldsmobile Cutlass. The Cutlass are really nice. We had a Grand Prix. You can get them with a V8. They're lighter, smaller, two-door, so they don't, they're a lot sportier. And it's also a car that parts availability for those cars, they're everywhere. You can get parts. And that is one of the greatest things about them. So if something does happen to it, say it is an fender bender, you can get a fender, you can get a door, you can get all this stuff very easily. It's very easily, readily available. So 2 years in, at my age, would I do it again? Every single day I would do it again. This car has been one of the best investments I've made. I really learned my lesson after owning the Grand Prix as far as take on what you feel you can take on. Take on what your abilities have. This car fits within my abilities. I can do mechanical work. It doesn't scare me. I can do some basic body work, some basic paint work. Doesn't scare me. Welding sections of frames, I don't have that ability. So take on what you feel you can take on. Go with good body. If possible, lower miles. And look for a good engine and transmission. From there, you can build upon. And you can just keep adding stuff to it, like I do with this car. I've replaced piece by piece, section by section. I do one set thing, like maybe I'll do the shocks, or I'll do some brake work, or I have to replace a piece of exhaust. I can replace it. The entire exhaust, minus the cat, so from the back of the cat to the end of the bumper there, $20 for the pipe coming out of the cat, $20 for a muffler, and $20 for the tailpipe. The prices to get these parts is very low, which makes it very easy, especially if you do it yourself. And I did. So, coming to a conclusion, should a 20-something who has an interest in older cars or an interest in cars in general purchase a car like this? Yes. At least from what I can say, because I have a newer car I make payments on. This is my toy. As a daily driver, probably not a wise idea. It's gonna have problems. This car, you never know what's gonna be next. But I expect that. It's an old car. It's an 83. It's gonna have issues. It's gonna have problems, especially driving it over time. It's gonna develop problems. This car sat for most of its life, but it really sat from about 2009 till about 2015 when I bought the car. So it has its issues, but it's a good base to go off of. So if you're looking to get into a classic car, you're younger, you don't have a whole lot of money, go with something like this. Go with a G-Body, something like a Grand Prix. Something that is still readily available. You can still get them. You can get them on the cheap now. You can get parts for them. They're easy to work on. You can learn as you go. And at the end of the day, you have something you can take out You can drive to work once a week or so, depending on weather. You can take it to car cruises. You can interact with individuals. You can get to know new people. It's a great experience. And just that overall feeling of pride when somebody comes up and they say, I really like your car. I had one of these. Or, wow, that car's in really nice shape. Or, and they ask you questions about it, and you can talk to them like, well, I've done this and I've done that. It's a great experience, and I'd recommend it. So, without doing too much rambling, this is the car. You've seen it. You'll see it again. I'll be doing a 2-year ownership video here shortly about the car and what I've experienced over the 2 years of owning it. Probably a little bit closer to when I've actually owned it 2 years. I love the car. And there's not many of these out here, and that's kind of something I like about this car over the G-bodies, like the Grand Prix and such, is there's just not that many of them out there. And the 307's by no means a powerful engine, but it is a V8. It has the V8 sound. So, if anybody has any questions or would like to comment, please feel free to leave some comments. Let me know what you think about the video and my thoughts, and chime in if you'd like. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and have a good day.